Okay, so Afghanistan, you know, I think that it's really important that we understand what happened here. George W. Bush lied us into a war. Donald Trump surrendered to the Taliban, released the Taliban commander, released 5,000 of their most vigorous fighters, put them back into the base, turned over 10 of our Air Force bases to them, and basically walked away from it, telling his director of national intelligence that the government would fall within 2 days. But it wasn't going to happen when he was president. He was going to hand this whole mess off to Joe Biden. Prepackaged. Here, Joe, it's a nice little birthday cake. Just ignore that ticking sound. Topic one. Topic two, what's going on in Florida? I mean, this is just crazy what's going on down in Florida. The Miami-Dade School Board just yesterday afternoon decided to defy Governor DeSantis, excuse me. They are going to have a mask mandate for the start of this year because the parents want it. Now, yeah, they had a bunch of crazy asshats show up there too with their pre-printed signs. It looks like Betsy DeVos and some of her people are in on this. We had this person from the International Women's Forum on yesterday talking about how how important it is not to mask children in school. And I'm like, is this part of the plan to destroy our public school system? And then I was reading this piece over on Daily Kos yesterday about how Betsy DeVos and some of her billionaire buddies who hate public schools are like jumping in with 2 feet. I don't know if there's a connection between the two. If IWF is in this or if this is just all over the right wingosphere, right? But hey, let's infect our teachers. Ron DeSantis is playing political games with a deadly virus. The Miami-Dade mayor, Daniela Levine Cava, said praised this school board decision, said protecting our children must be our top priority. I applaud the Miami-Dade School Board for following the science and putting the health and well-being of our children first. It was a 7-1 vote as people were chanting, unmask our kids, unmask our kids. A medical task force that the school district, the Miami-Dade School District had employed, unanimously recommended a mask mandate. Unanimously. And new polling from Ipsos Axios shows 69% of Americans support in-school mask mandates. My point in my op-ed today over at HartmannReport.com, Medicare-For-All will stop boss men from playing political games with deadly diseases for political gain. The point of that is that when you look at those countries that have national health care systems where everybody's in, everybody's protected, the country isn't overrun by disease, or when it is, people don't go bankrupt. They can get help. You don't have politicians playing these kind of political games that DeSantis and Abbott are playing. Because you have a central voice. I mean, the closest we've got to this right now is Fauci, right? Or the CDC. Fauci's not with the CDC. He's with the, and National Institutes of Health, but it's a subdivision that has to do with infectious diseases. In any case, a national healthcare system, like every other developed country in the world has, sort of with the exception of Switzerland, a national healthcare system gives a voice, a national voice to healthcare, and make sure that America would stop having bankruptcies. We've gone from 500,000 bankruptcies to 700,000 last year. We're probably going to hit 1 million this year, all because of COVID. Not all because of COVID, but about half of them because of COVID. This is a disaster. If there was ever an argument for Medicare for all, that argument is what's going on right now. When everybody is protected with health insurance and health care, when everybody is protected, then you have a public health system as well as an individual health system. When you've got, when you rely on for-profit corporations to provide health insurance to people, and they skim so much money off the top that people like Dollar Bill McGuire, the former CEO of United Healthcare, can literally walk away with more than $1 billion. His successor, Stephen J. Hemsley, walking away with hundreds of millions of dollars. When you've got a system like that, you end up with massive numbers of people who are underinsured or uninsured. And this is why this Family USA study found Roughly 1 out of every 3 COVID deaths are linked to health insurance gaps. Nearly more than 40% of all COVID infections are associated with health insurance gaps. By February 2021, 10.9 million infections and 143,000 deaths were associated with health insurance gaps. This is not happening in Canada. This is not happening in the United Kingdom. It's not happening in France or in Germany or in Spain or in Italy or in Denmark or Norway or Sweden or Finland. It's only happening here. It's time for Medicare-For-All, as I lay out in my new book, The Hidden History of American Healthcare.